Hi, welcome to Universal Interiors. This is Leslie Engelstead, and I'm so glad that you joined us today. I get to interview both John and Linda Grefsrud, and I'm very excited about this. They are on a new venture, but behind this new venture is a lot of history, and that's what we're going to try to find out about. So, Miss Linda, you want to start us out? There is a development going on. It has been going on for quite some time at Dunvilla. So I want you to just tell me, well, first of all, maybe just a little bit about your family.
Oh, hey, good morning. My parents are Arnie and Martha Miller, and we grew up on Dun Beach, which is a hidden beach right next to Dunvilla, like on the south side of the old Dunvilla resort. And we grew up with this beautiful resort family place called Dunvilla, Dun's Lodge, and we all hung out there. We swam in the swimming hole that was in the river.
Right.
They had this cool diving board that you could just jump off and try to miss the snapping turtles in the river. And we worked at the restaurant. We cleaned cabins. We mowed lawns. So our family, 6 kids, we grew up all working there and being a part of this beautiful family resort where you can make great memories. Right. So that's part of where that whole Dunvilla history piece comes in for us personally. Yeah. So we knew Roy Dunn some, and then we knew Bob Berquist when he owned it, and the Rifes when they owned it.
Oh, wow, a lot of history.
Yeah, and the restaurant, Betty and Maury Brunsvold and Kathy and Rick Weiser. So it was, all those connections and all that history. And when it disappeared in the 90s, there was a lot of sorrow in the area from this magical place being gone. So that's kind of the history.
So you got to see it in its heyday. Well, it was even, I know I was a part of that. Oh, many years ago
you worked there with my sister.
Late 70s. So, and just like you said, to capture that family history and to be part of so close that you lived right outside and ran on over, that's just had to be such a treasure in your heart.
It was. I rode my horse through there and hoped that Roy didn't see me because he didn't like the hoof prints all over his grass.
Sure. Yeah, there was a amazing part just watching and you know that people get older, things are going to change, but it was one of those crazy sorrowful times for all of us that just even drove by Dunvilla to all of a sudden that beautiful area to be gone.
Yes.
Basically, Dunvilla disappeared.
Yep. And then the last remaining buildings were the barn, the original dairy barn across the road.
Sure.
And the log cabin where Roy was born and his family grew up there in that little log cabin.
Oh, is that right? I know the days that I was there, he was in a trailer home behind that.
Yes. Yep.
So that was his older time.
But the log cabin was built around 1880, and he was born there in 86.
Oh,
and that's where
great.
the gift shop is. And then after the family moved to a bigger house, they turned it into the granary. So there is still the little latch that you can open where the grain would fall through from the upper story and fill the bags. Yes, yeah. So that's pretty cool. And the dairy barn was turned into, a couple of different ventures. And then in the 90s, it was a real estate office.
Oh, that's right. Yep. I recall that now.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. So I know that was still... No, I'm going to talk a little bit to my friend John. Yes. Just because you also told me born and raised Pelican Rapids, right?
Yep.
So what does Dunvilla mean to you? Did you come out there a lot, or was it kind of tucked away from you?
That was north of town, and we were west of town.
Yeah,
And when we were young, you didn't venture that far.
No.
We went... Our big thing was in high school, we'd get up to Detroit Lakes to the pavilion, but we'd drive by it, then we'd stop in there once in a while. But
certainly. That's what I was wondering. That's where I would come from.
We had relatives that had a cabin down stream, you might say, on the river there, and so we used to run up and tube through there.
Oh, yeah. So you did participate in that little...
We did some.
So this is a little memory tucked in your heart, too, from years back.
Yeah, for a farm boy, that's...
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Okay, Miss Linda, you then came into... Well, your family did, to restore or to take over, or tell me a bit about that now.
So back in 2012, Thanksgiving time, our families gathered together, and the barn had been vacant for several years. And brother Eric Miller, mentioned that it's really too bad that we've lost that piece of history, and that barn would make a great event center or someplace for people to gather.
Okay.
And so John and I pondered that, and so during Christmas vacation, we approached Eric about partnering up. So,
Okay.
And so he created the business for the barn at Dunvilla, and we're just property owners,
Okay.
which is the better end of the deal, I think, for us. So that spring, we bought it in 2013.
2013, okay.
And
do you know how long it actually was abandoned there, left?
it wasn't maybe 4 years, 5 years.
Oh, less than that. 2 years. It stood empty from the real estate of
2010?
it. Yeah, it was.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Somewhere around then.
Yeah.
Okay.
So not too many years. The upstairs had only ever been used for storage.
Okay.
Storage, and then of course hay and straw.
Sure.
So in that June, we got to start remodeling, and we had 5 weeks before our daughter's wedding.
Oh,
And-
cool. So that was one of those things behind it.
Yeah.
Nice.
So little Jackie that
Yes,
you knew
yeah.
had the first wedding. They were the guinea pigs.
Oh, perfect.
But it was a scramble because
Of
there
course.
was major remodeling and cleaning, and so the night before the wedding, we're still putting the spindles in this railing around. Yeah. So it was really fun, and then it got to open the next year in 2014 for the first full season.
Okay.
Yep. And in that spring, John was standing on the deck at that barn and looked over and said, there really should be a little inn over there for families to stay at to make it better for people, to just be together in one place.
Oh,
so
that's
that was
where
all
it birthed,
his
Mr.
idea.
John.
And I was thinking like a 10 or 12 room inn.
Yeah.
And so we hired a company to do a feasibility study, and he said, well, you could do that and it'd be full all the time, but
Right.
you wouldn't make any money
Oh,
because you got to have some scale to it.
sure.
So we hired an architect, and
It became how big now, please?
now it's 30 rooms.
30 rooms.
30 room
So,
hotel.
30 rooms with the hot tub and pool, and all those extra
Oh,
things.
I'm so excited for our area. I really am.
Yeah, and we're so excited. The whole vision is for families to be together and spend more time in Dunvilla area. Maybe bring business to Pelican or, those kinds of things. But really creating lifetime memories.
Sure.
And that's been so much fun to do with weddings so far.
Certainly.
There are over 50 at the barn this year. And so every wedding is just beautiful and different. And it's great to be a part of their special day.
I just want to thank Linda and John for being here today. It was such a treat to find out a little bit more about the Grefsruds and their new venture over in Dunvilla. And really, what do you do besides that little venture? You also?
So Dunvilla is our part-time job.
Right.
Yes. So I'm a special ed teacher at Pelican Rapids High School.
Okay.
Love my kiddos. So, so I get to see them again this fall.
Perfect.
Yes.
And how about for you, Mr. John?
I work full-time as a refrigeration and boiler technician at the food plant in town, the Genio plant.
Sure.
So, this is strictly our sideline job.
Very part-time. I've been watching these two, not so much part-time. Again, please come out to Dunvilla Way and see this venture that they're on. It's beautiful. Again, thanks for joining us today.